Here is the iLiving 20-inch high velocity fan air circulator, model number ILG8F21, made in China. Oh, great. This is a very interesting fan for a couple of reasons. Number one is that it's been on the market for a very long time. This design can be traced back to at least 20 years ago in the early 2000s, perhaps even back into the late 90s. They were originally sold under the Hampton Bay and SMC brands. I'm not sure who's still making this at this point. iLiving, of course, is just some funny name. It's not a manufacturer of any kind. Take a look at the information tags. Well, there's not really a indicator on there of when it's from. But it is UL listed. I think in theory you're supposed to be able to track that number down and get some information on the manufacturer from that number, but I don't know how to do that. Anyway, so the other interesting item about this fan is that this is one of the single best high velocity fans made today. I would put this right up there with the Air Queen and the TPI. It looks like a very unsuspecting fan at first. You know, typical alloy blades and fairly thin, flexible guard. But then you go around the back and you have this gigantic 2 amp PSC motor with oil ports. And the motor is huge. It's the same size as the old patent motors were, and old liquid motors and so forth. Windings are a pretty decent gauge. Looks like a pretty well made motor. Riveted blade set. Pretty sure that's a 1/2 inch shaft. Decent pitch on the blades, nothing crazy but decent. Got the clips to open it up real easy. So, not bad. Not bad at all. Especially since this is just a funny off-brand product. I think they advertised this as a turbo fan. Of course, back when it was new, it wouldn't have been turbo, it would have just been regular, because that's what everything was, just decent. It's got the cord wrap on the back, which is nice. Cord's a little short for this kind of a fan. No fuse, just a regular 3-prong plug. Now this one's made in April 2021. I don't know if they still have oil ports or not to this very day. I suspect if they had it last year, they probably would still have it this year, but I don't know for certain. Alright, so it's plugged up now. Let's go ahead and move the camera out of the windstream, and I'll turn it on. We'll start up on low, which on this unit comes first, which is nice. Okay. All that noise, I believe, was just those two clips on the back that are hanging by the wire ties. They're supposed to go on either side. Tighten the adjustment. So that's up to speed and low now. Moves plenty of air. Very strong Fiat. All the way across the room. There's a strong airflow. It's not quiet, you're certainly hearing it. But for the amount of air moved, it's not at all unreasonable. There's plenty of fans that are a lot louder than this that move a fraction of the air. And the balance, in fact, is pretty good. It's really, I would say it's within a reasonable margin of error. The clock on the blades is not perfect. I wonder if correcting that would make it be in pretty much perfect balance. Not bad, pretty decent balance. Yeah, that noise is just these clips there. So you got good airflow. This noise level is not unbearable. I can deal with this. I think you could still have a conversation over this airflow, over this noise. And I can really feel the air circulating all over the room, even just on low. And take a look over here. You see the plant is moving just from the recirculation of the air. Which is kind of impressive because this is a very large room. So if a fan on low can move all the air in this room, it's got some decent power to it. Alright, so that's the low speed. Let's go to the medium now. And unlike a lot of the fans made today, this actually has a decent variance in the speed. It's not great, but it's a lot better than other models. Pretty good increase in airflow. This is really throwing the air out now. And it was before too, but this is really strong. Got that nice choppy sound to it as well. And you can just feel the air moving everywhere in here. It's really impressive. Okay, now we go to the high, which is the fastest speed, of course. It's not quite as strong as the old patents were, but it's not that far from it. Balance is pretty reasonable. Really not that far off at all. here, you can see it's moving. It's throwing a lot of air around. And you can see based on the reflection of the light in the blades that it's not a really super accurate clock. The spin down is kind of short, but this has never been run more than like a half an hour, so the bearings have never had a chance to break in yet. So anyways, pretty good VN. I think this is definitely, I would say, in the top 3 best high velocity VNs. You know, right up there with the TPI. I'd say the TPI is the best, and then either this or the Air Queen. And having the oil port is really significant because if it's kept oiled, it should last a long time, and it's in much better balance than the Air Queens are. So I believe this is still available. I hope it stays in the market for a while because it's a good design and it's already had quite a long run.